So, right as everything is sitting at like a level of support, you got to be wondering, are we going to be losing these levels for Ethereum and Solana and CRO, or are we going to find a bounce? Because Bitcoin is finding a little bit of resistance right at the $111,000 price level, as we were talking about on my stream earlier today. We have found resistance right here, folks, and this is kind of a make or break moment for CRO, for Ethereum. Looking at Ethereum right now, actually sitting right at this $4,000 level on the weekly candle, deciding, are we going up? Are we going down? CRO coin depends on ETH here. So to talk about CRO, we need to look at Ethereum. We need to actually, so we need to look at Ethereum here. We need to look at Solana. And I had a Solana trade that was actually just recently stopped out in the profit, which is good. I have been playing around on BTCC lately. I do have a Bitcoin trade that is still active. However, we are currently seeing the market start to find resistance at 111 level, which is where I have a take profit set. Okay, we got close. It didn't fully take profit today. And then we have this, also take profit set a little bit, at the lower end of things, but still profiting either way. And if you guys want to trade the volatility, by the way, in the description down below, there is a sign up link for BTCC. And this is the landing page. You'll end up where you can see 10% deposit bonus. All you need is an email address and 10% deposit bonus, extra bonuses, 40% lower trading fees, all this good stuff. So you'll check that out. That's pretty cool for you guys there, and up to 500x leverage. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Take a peek at Bitcoin, still up today, but finding resistance. I'm actually really surprised with the low volatility that we're seeing on Bitcoin today, because it has been standing around this $111,000 price level all day, but really finding this as a level of resistance and kind of making me think we might find a little bit of a lower level. Now, today, gold was rallying, tested a new high. Actually, I think it wicked to a new high. So as gold is continuing its breakout, people are wondering, why is gold outperforming crypto? Well, I think it's because the government shutdown, as I've been talking about. But I do think that once if the government shutdown ends, Bitcoin can pump. As gold will show weakness, Bitcoin can pump. And from there, well, then if Bitcoin can pump, Ethereum should be able to get a move to the upside past $5,000. In order for CRO coin to get a move, you need Ethereum to break past $5,000, take a true new all-time high for this bull market. Here's our 2021 peak prices for Ethereum, and this is as good as it got back in August of 2025. We haven't really seen any soaring highs. We haven't seen a $6,000 or $7,000 ETH. We need to see that going so that we can get CRO coin rallying. And whether you want to trade Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, or CRO, the whole thing depends on Bitcoin. And so, if this gold weakness can start to show, we have seen historically that Bitcoin likes to kind of do the opposite of what gold is doing. If gold starts to collapse, Bitcoin could start to really get rewarded for that. But as that Bitcoin is showing weakness, we are actually seeing gold show some strength. So this toppish kind of moment on this level of resistance for Bitcoin, I think, is because gold is taking new all-time highs. But all of a sudden, if that government shutdown gets reversed, well, then, possibly we can get this entire crypto market to move to the upside. But Solana sitting at a key level that I've had drawn out for a while, 188. Ethereum sitting at $4,000 on a cliff right now. Dogecoin also on a cliff. If these things break through, Dogecoin could come back down to 15 cents. Solana could come back down to maybe $127. Ethereum could come back down to, maybe $2,800 possibly. I mean, there's definitely some levels up here as well. $2,800 possibly, maybe down to 22. Those would be incredibly bearish and make people think that, the bull market's over, which, we've been exploring this conversation more. Maybe the 4-year cycles are done. But anyway, I mean, if if Ethereum breaks lower and Solana breaks lower, CRO's likely going to break lower. And the levels I'd be looking at are 10 cents, I think is a very obvious level for CRO. But we found quite a bit of resistance there in the past. We could easily turn it to support. Now, if we're going into a bear market, which I'm not saying that yet, you could have CRO collapsing a lot more. But let's explore this tweet real quick because somebody put out a tweet that I thought was kind of interesting right here. This crypto wizard guy says, what happened to the $5 billion that was allocated to buy and support CRO? CRO has already lost all the gains from the presidential partnership announcement. There it is, the tweet from the CEO of Crypto.com, wondering what the community's view is on the CRO performance in 2026 under the following scenarios. 200 million in SPAC cash developed to buy CRO after transaction completes. 420 million SPAC cash, including warrants. Proceeds deployed to buy CRO. And then this last one, 5.2 billion in cash plus warrants plus fully utilized line of credit deployed to buy CRO. And so he's grabbing the screenshot from Chris as the price is just failing us right now. But I want to remind you guys this. He says 2026. And so the CEO of Crypto.com is basically calling for a super cycle. A couple thoughts on this. First of all, wouldn't that be great? And if it did happen, the 4-year cycles are broken, and that's what I consider a super. I consider a super cycle is when the 4-year cycles have proven to be broken. If we rally into 2026, the 4-year cycles are officially broken. That would also put Chris in a great position of I told you so. But if the other side of this happens and we don't get a continued bull market into 2026, then CRO is going to kind of have it. Chris and CRO is kind of going to have an egg on the face moment where everybody again said it's different. This time it's different. And then it really wasn't. If we go into a bear market, Chris misled the community by saying bullish thoughts for 2026. I want to remind you guys this. It is in the best interest of exchanges and institutions that are fully invested in the crypto space. It is in the best interest of YouTubers and influencers and anybody that's livelihood depends on crypto to be a crypto bull. What I like to do here on this channel is be as real as possible and a realist in thinking my organic and true thoughts. And my organic and true thoughts say, I don't believe in a 4-year cycle being broken until it's proven that it is. So when Chris came out and said, beautiful CRO performance in 2026, I was chuckling. I laughed about it with Blacksea. I said, I would love this to be right. What if he's right? Wouldn't that be spectacular? But I think it's dangerous for anybody to be talking about a super cycle, 4-year cycle broken moment unless we know that that's the case. And nobody can predict the future, but Chris has a close ear in on the scenario, knows how regulations are playing out in the US. He's obviously bullish on crypto, but what you need to do is do your own research, my friends. And as I continue to do my own research, I like to make trades, whether we are going up or down. I'm trading both sides of it. Right now, I'm still in a long, which is currently in the profit with my stop loss set. And I'm trading over on BTCC. And if you guys want to trade, there is a link in the description of this video right here. You click it and it takes you over to the landing page for BTCC, where you can just enter in your email address, have a deposit bonus, and take advantage of up to 500x leverage, but a 10% deposit bonus on your first deposit over 500 USDT. It looks like they just changed that. So 500 USDT. So there you go. There you go. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. DCA hold on, my friends. I will keep the content coming. I am Crypto Kip. This is a Crypto Report. Until next time, guys, more videos coming your way. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. See you in the next one, y'all. Peace.